comedy competition. Very funny gentleman. Please give it up for Mr. Mark Dawson.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm in a little trouble with my wife tonight. Her parents are staying with us at the house, and I wear pants around the house and adjust my behavior quite a bit, but I like to leave notes for her, and a lot of them are a little childish and immature, as is my true character, and some of them are a little bit lewd. And this one, she thought was lewd and immature. It was just 3 or 4 things I really like about her. I say 3 or 4 because I never know whether to count her boobs as 1 or 2. So she told me I couldn't read the note tonight, so I just wanted to tell you about it. And I'm going to be real nice for the whole rest of the year. So guys, how about that Big Sky Little League All-Star team? Yeah, I know. Pretty darn cool. That's changed a lot of things. You know, people are saying that more kids are going to sign up for baseball next year, and Mustangs games are going to have better attendance. But I think the biggest impact is there are 12 little dudes who aren't going to be listening to their parents anytime soon. One of them lives just down the street from us, and I used to see him actually in his baseball uniform, I assume after practice, out there mowing the lawn. And then after the Little League World Series, there's this big banner up, Connor, we love you, you're number 1, and his dad's out there mowing the lawn. So I'm thinking of how that conversation went. Connor, son, you need to get out there and mow the lawn. And the kid's going, Connor is about inspiring a nation and bringing the community together. Connor's not so much about mowing the lawn. If you want that lawn mowed, you mow it yourself, bitch. And I pictured a mom in another one of the houses going, Gabriel, your grandma's on the phone, she wants to talk to you, she's wondering how you're doing. And the kid's going, you know what, I'm involved in the biggest sports story in the history of Billings, Montana. That old bat wants to know how I'm doing. She can follow me on Twitter like everybody else. So, I know how 12-year-olds think. My wife is always saying, it's like you turned 12 and got that mature, and then you stayed that way, and you've had 30 years experience at that. And so she's asking me, have you learned anything? I'm like, you know what, if I could talk to 12-year-olds, I could give them some really good advice. You know, she's asking what? I said, you know what I tell them? The big thing is, think of your mom. You know, think of your mom, how she obsesses about how she looks, she runs late all the time, like if you're going somewhere, she's probably ragging on either you or your dad or your sisters along the way, crabby. And then when you get around other people, she's like, oh, it's so great to see her, you know, like a whole different person. There's a reason. She's a girl. She's crazy. They're all crazy. It's the ratio that matters. If you find a great one, now people use the term 10. For me, 10 means they're 10 times as crazy at home as they are in the general public. My wife is very little crazy. She's a 3. She's only 3 times as crazy at home as she is with the general public. I think that's pretty darn good. I'm always trying to do, and I'm sorry I offended you there, I'm going to try to make up for it. I'm always trying to do stuff to impress my wife, and most of it falls flat. And part of the problem is, she's friends with all these other beautiful, high-maintenance American girls, and they have these super husbands that are just all whipped into shape. She comes home the other day and goes, oh, listen to what Kim's husband did for her. It was the most sweetest, most coolest, most sweetest thing ever. He did like a little scavenger hunt. He did a note with a present that gave a clue to another present, and another one and some jewelry at the end. Are you kidding me? How am I going to compete with that? And so I said, you know what, my gifts are more practical, you know, because she was complaining about how the house was such a disaster she didn't know where to start. Like, okay, this is something that'll really matter. I got up early, sat down, she doesn't know where to start. I'm just going to make a list of everything that needs to get done, set it right there on the counter for her, so when she got up, she'd know where to start and what the priorities were. And I know you're thinking I'm inconsiderate, but there's more. I said, you know what, sweetie, I don't want you to rush through this. I will stay out of your way. I'll be gone playing golf all day. And I would love it if we could have chicken enchiladas for supper. Don't use too many jalapenos again, please. That type of thing. I also try to impress her with my knowledge, but I don't have the knowledge. Like she asked the other day, what's the big deal between a 6-cylinder and a 4-cylinder on a car? And so I go into this, well, most cars are between 7 and 22 cylinders, but that's not where they get their power. It's how fast the torque can go through the Johnson rod to the discombobulator that gives the car its power. You know, she's asking me like about the process of building homes. I'm like, oh, it's very simple actually. In layman's terms, something you can understand. It starts with a hole being dug with something called a hole digger. And after that, it's pretty much just like building a tree house but without the tree. You know, in a lot of ways, it's even simpler. You don't have all those leaves to deal with. And so I'll also, I'll watch things on the History Channel and try to act like I've always known them because I'm just so smart that I remember this from school. So I'm watching something on World War I the other night, in the middle of the night, and thinking, I don't remember that much details about this, and I'm flipping to VH1's 20 hottest country singers. So then I doze off, and I get a breakfast all ready to impress. I'm like, sweetie, you know, I don't know if you remember this like you should. You probably know that the fight between imperialism and capitalism, along with the assassination of the Archduke, set off the war, but most people don't remember that Shania Twain was behind the whole thing. Got my facts a little confused there. The other thing is, it's nice with smartphones. Like, she'll ask me something, and I'll pretend I'm sending emails or texts, and I'll be right with you, sweetheart, and I'll Google whatever she asks me. We're watching the Cowboys game the other day. She's like, how big is Dallas? I'm like, excuse me, sweetheart, this is a work email, and I'm looking up Dallas population, you know. But it backfires because the internet doesn't always have the most updated material. So I'm like, oh, what was your question? Oh, Dallas. Yes, Dallas, they have 5.5 million residents within the city limits, but by the year 2000, it's expected to go to 6 million. Didn't impress her so much. So we have a good friend who's a doctor, and I guess I'm a little insecure about it, partly because he's so arrogant about it. He's a, what's the one, not a urologist, proctologist, a butt doctor. Yeah, because I always call him a butt doctor. He hates that. So I do not like being called a butt doctor. I'm like, if you don't want to be called a butt doctor, why did you become one? I mean, I don't particularly like being called a redneck either, but, I mean, I tee off my deck a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, facts is facts. I mean, you're a butt doctor, you know? And so I give him a bad, just because he gets so, silly to John Hopkins, I'm the smartest person in the world and all this. And so I said, you know what, you're kind of just a mechanic for the body, really. And he's like, that is not a fair comparison. I'm like, you know, it's not fair, because mechanics are superior to doctors in most ways. He's just appalled by this. Like, yeah, they actually have the good sense to let you fill out, or they'll fill out for you your name and number and everything once. Willard's Garage is better run than Billings Clinic. A guy named Willard that's got a garage on Broadwater Avenue, raises dogs on the side, has common sense that the medical establishment doesn't. They make you fill out the forms 5 times. God forbid they can make copies or put them in the computer and get them to 5 people that know, right? The other thing about mechanics, they will tell you roughly how long something's going to take, what they think the problem is, how much it's going to cost, right? If mechanics were like doctors, and you had a problem with one of your lights, they would basically say, well, I'll take a look at this, I'll change the bulb, and then take your car home and leave the hood up and don't use it for 2 weeks. We'll see if that works. Oh, that didn't work. We'll send you to a wiring specialist. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, I'll give you a prescription to take the wiring, drive across town and get that. Oh, now we can send you to a battery specialist. I mean, that's part of it. I asked the guy, I'm like, okay, you specialize in one thing? I mean, shouldn't humans be that one thing? Vets do all kinds of animals. And car part, I mean, I counted up the body parts. I'm like, there's head, you know, there's like 11, if you count guts and all that stuff in there's maybe 14 body parts. Cars have well over 1,000 body parts, or 1,000 parts, way more to remember. The other thing is, I think that the communication is so much better with mechanics, and I don't know if it's education. I think if all doctors had to take a 6-month course out at the Career Center, they might be better at telling us what we need to know. I think I might need to read this note before I go. No, she saw that look. Okay, so the other thing I do to try to impress my wife, what a lot of guys do is work hard to get successful, and she still wants to donate all this money to charities, even though the economy is tougher and money's tight. So instead of saying no, I just make up things about all these charities that we don't like. Like, the Girl Scouts? I don't know, those cookies, that's not recyclable paper. The cardboard, they're ruining the planet. I don't want to be responsible for that. I mean, who needs scouting? We have GPS, for God's sake. You know, and she's a big animal lover. She always wants to donate to the Humane Society. You know, until they start, there's too much administration. Until that money starts going directly to the animals, you're not getting any more from me. The dumbest one, but you know, I'm a big believer in this too, the food bank, you know, helping hunger. We wrote a check to that the same week that we wrote a check to the Fortin Classic to play in a golf tournament to fight childhood obesity. I'm like, you know what? Neither one of these groups need me, they need each other. Let's just set up a meeting place. Like, people could take their fat kids, and people could bring, the poor people who don't have enough food could come and join, take their fat kids, hey, grab your Doritos and cookies, or go for a picnic. Hey, go to McDonald's and whatever you want. Okay, the cure for your disease is lack of food. Give your food to this kid, right? Only doctors could convince us that that's a disease, right? If lack of food and bicycles cured cancer, nobody'd be dying of cancer, right? I should ask, are there any doctors in the room? I meant to ask that sooner. Apologies. Okay, well, thank you for having some of my childish antics tonight.